The Cowboys beat the Giants 23-16 on Monday Night Football, and I don't feel like this outcome was surprising. I thought this should have happened. This was a mismatch from the very beginning. Let's take away the records that Dallas is starting a backup quarterback, that the Giants are somehow magically 2-0, the first time since 2016 they've done that. And just look at the two teams. The Cowboys are elite up front. Their defensive line is one of the best in the NFL. They have recorded the third most pressures in the NFL since the season has started. The New York Giants are still a struggling offensive line. They came into this game allowing the number one pressures in football, and that's with facing the Tennessee Titans and the Carolina Panthers. The Dallas Cowboys were a mismatch for the Giants. Their defensive line dominated all game long. Daniel Jones was pressured on 46% of his dropbacks, and the Cowboys recorded 5 sacks and 21 pressures. I mean, this wasn't the game to try to evaluate Daniel Jones, although we've had years of that, 3 years of that. But this game, Daniel Jones, there wasn't much he can do. The Cowboys' defensive line, they dominated. And while the Giants started off 2-0, they were not as good as their record suggested. Let's just look at their wins. The first win against Tennessee. If Randy Bullock hits that field goal, the Titans win the game. Ryan Tannehill leads a game-winning drive. He missed. The Giants win. Nail-biter. Brian Dable goes for 2. Credit to him. But that was a 50-50 nail-biting win. Their second win, they barely got past Carolina. Carolina is an inept offense. While the Giants are trending in the right direction, their 2-0 start led to excitement around the team, as it should. It's the first time they started off that well since 2016. But realistically, they're a year or two away from being a wild card team or a team that I would consider in the playoff hunt. They still have gaping holes on their team. The offensive line, at receiver. They paid Kenny Golladay all that money. What did he do today? What has he been doing all season? Nothing. Kenny Golladay has been terrible. Sterling Shepard got hurt. Who are their receivers? Kadarius Toney, Darius Slayton. The Giants have a gaping hole there. Their offensive line is still an issue. Their defensive line, while it's trending upwards, is not there yet. Linebacker is an issue. Secondary is an issue. The Giants have holes, and I didn't even mention quarterback. They still have a ton of holes. And because of that, this game was kind of a rude awakening to Giants fans out there that this is not the year yet. Just tone down the excitement. The Giants are getting better. That's a good thing. But this is not the year. When the Cowboys lost on Sunday night to Tampa, and then it was announced that they also lost Dak Prescott for a couple games, the reaction was, the Cowboys season is over. It's done. Including me. I was one of those people. But then looking at it, I kind of had a feeling I was going to be wrong about it. And the reason why is because you look at the schedule and you see the Bengals, the Giants, the Commanders, the Rams, Eagles, Lions, and Bears. That's not a tough schedule. Cooper Rush can win you a couple games. And it turns out Cooper Rush has been better than everybody's expected him to be. He beat the Bengals, led a game-winning drive, and now he beats the Giants on Monday Night Football on the road. The Cowboys are now 2-1. The next games are the Commanders, Rams, Eagles, Lions, and Bears. If Cooper Rush continues to start, I think even without Dak, they can win 3 of these games. Commanders, Lions, and Bears. Which would mean they would go 3-2. They would lose to the Eagles and Rams. Which means if Dak does want to sit out longer, he could come back to a Cowboys team that is 5-3. And with the current state of the NFC, you can make the playoffs with 8, 9 wins. The NFC is not difficult. In the NFC South, the only team is Tampa. In the NFC North, Green Bay, Minnesota. Do you really believe in any of those teams to this point? I would say no. The NFC West, it's just the Rams. The Niners have offensive issues. They need to be worked out. Their offensive line is banged up. The NFC East, it just feels like it's the Eagles. Everything is up for grabs. The Cowboys season is not over. And because Cooper Rush has been so amazing, in his last 2 games, 450 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 2 wins, their season is in better shape than everybody expected it to be. And in Cooper Rush's first 3 starts, he's 3-0 and has 2 game-winning drives. Now, I know because Cooper Rush is playing well, there might be some talk out there. Did you even start Dak if he's healthy? Well, of course you do. Dak Prescott is a far better quarterback than Cooper Rush. But what I will say is, since Cooper Rush has been better than expected, Dak Prescott can now rest longer, which is better for the Dallas Cowboys in the long term for what they hope to accomplish this season, past the playoffs. You need Dak at 100%. And because the backup quarterback situation isn't absolutely horrific, Dak Prescott has some leeway to rest more. And I think that's the best thing the Cowboys could ask for, and that puts them in a tremendous position. I think after tonight we learned 2 things: that the Giants are still ways away, and that the Cowboys season is absolutely not over.